Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Career, and someone very special with me today, María Jesús. She's a Spanish teacher at one of the best language schools here in Madrid, and she also coordinates those who want to become Spanish teachers. She previously studied linguistics at the University Castilla-La Mancha in Ciudad Real.
Yeah.
What were your intentions when you first started studying linguistics?
I didn't have any clear intention. This one offered you different options and different languages. I wanted to travel as well. And I don't know, I just liked the program and I decided I wanted to study that. But I didn't really have a clear idea of what I wanted to do with my life.
Okay, so
I was sure I didn't want to be a teacher though.
So that's funny because that's what you ended up doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to after your studies. How, if you had no idea what you wanted to do, how did you decide what your first job should be or where you were going to apply?
The truth is, when I finished my degree, I wanted to travel, so I decided to go to England. I was living there for 1 year and a half, something like that, and I was living there. I was having a lot of fun.
Okay.
No, but it was a very important part of my life. You know, you meet lots of people from different countries, so it was very positive for me. And then I came back to Spain and I started looking for a job, and it was a time when the immobiliary, the real estate field, I don't know how this is called in English.
The real estate industry?
Industry was a very important industry in Spain. They were looking for people to be in charge of people from other countries.
Did you apply to many real estate agencies or for other jobs also, or just real estate?
I applied for real estate at that moment, at that time. Yeah, no, I didn't apply to many. It was something very fast. You know, when you send your CV, you send your profile, they contact me and they talk about the project, and I like it. I really like it, so I decided I wanted to work in there.
So how did you go about applying for the first job?
I was searching online, and I was searching like in different cities, big cities that were close to my hometown. So I decided I wanted to look for jobs in Madrid, Valencia, Alicante and Murcia. Yeah, at that time the coast was very important industry for this kind of jobs. I sent my CV, I sent my application and went and did an interview.
You got the job, so
I
it was
got the
pretty
job.
easy.
It was pretty easy, yeah.
So you worked at real estate, and how did you then end up becoming a teacher? Was there some signs or some things that happened while you were working that made you decide you wanted to become a teacher?
Okay, when I did this interview, everything sounded great. Yeah, it was going to be fantastic, but actually it was very boring. So I remember some customers came to me and we started talking like, did you study at the university? I told them I had been studying linguistics, and they asked me to help them with their Spanish. They couldn't speak any Spanish. So that's how I started.
Okay, so you started giving them lessons and you realized that you really enjoyed
I loved
working
it.
with these
I
people.
really loved it. Yeah. You can see the process.
Yeah.
You can see how they are getting better and better, and it's like, wow.
And you
nice.
realize also for you it's amazing because you realize, it's like I'm helping them to
Yeah,
achieve this.
it's like building something, and you can see the results. Yeah. Because selling things is it was not for me.
Okay, so you really found your passion doing this, and this inspired you to go back to studying, right?
Exactly. I decided to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I looked for different master programs. I found one I really like, and I went there.
Okay, so was it hard to decide to stop working, and also because the financial aspect was also interesting because you had the security and then you decide to go back to study? Was that hard?
No, it was not hard. No, not at all. Okay, yeah, it's true. It was a very good time to do that kind of job.
Mm-hmm.
My salary was pretty good. No, it was not hard
Because you didn't like it.
I didn't
That
like
was
it,
the-
and I really loved it, teaching. And you know, I had saved some money, and I look at everything. I was like, okay, I can pay the master degree with the money I have. I can live during a year with this money I have. So it was not that hard. You know, I was quite young at that time,
Okay.
so it's not now. Maybe now I think it twice.
Okay.
See, when you have some responsibilities, some things like that. But no, not at the moment. It was not a hard decision.
Okay. So just to recollect, you spent 1 year in England and then 1 or 2 years working in the real estate agency?
No, just one.
Just 1 year. Okay. And then you went back to studying and you did a master's degree in teaching Spanish as a foreign language?
Exactly.
Okay. And then you started looking for jobs again?
Yeah.
How many applications did you send out approximately?
I sent a lot, but this all happened in an afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I started sending emails and it was kind of a coincidence because I had to go back to Alcalá de Henares to return some books. I don't know if it was the next day or 2 days after, and I received 2 phone calls to make some interviews here in Madrid. And in one of them I got a job.
And you decided to take it?
Yeah.
Because you were ready to go?
Yeah, I was ready to start doing something apart of being at home writing the thesis.
And was this then what you really enjoyed? Or what did you do?
In this job I was doing 2 different things. I was teaching and I was coordinating some courses as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it for how long? I think only 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to change?
And it was an administrative job. And once again, that's not the kind of job I like doing. I like working with people. I look at other schools.
So you weren't teaching enough because you said you were coordinating and teaching. But the
yeah.
coordinating was the bigger part of the job.
Because it was the important part.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like too much the philosophy of the school, so I decided to
And
look for other job.
did you apply to other jobs with the security of still being in your previous job?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just started applying to other places?
Yeah, I did a better research in there. Yeah, I was
Okay.
looking for different schools, what was their philosophy, how they work, what was behind this thing.
Then you applied to the school that you work at now, and did you also
Yeah.
apply to others? Or?
I applied to this school, I applied to Tandem, and I applied to other places. And they called me from here, from Tandem, and I came, I did my interview, and I decided to stay here.
Okay, and this was then a teaching job that you got? Okay, full-time teaching.
Full-time teaching job, yeah.
Was it a progression for you when you came here? Did you start as a teacher, just as a teacher, and then progress and get new jobs?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
So you had a development within the
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I guess, the most fun.
Yeah, because if not, it's kind of boring, no? It gets monotonous if you are always doing the same things.
What advice would you give to students who are looking to start a career?
The first advice I would give them is to do what they really want to do and not being afraid of making mistakes, and don't be afraid of leaving a job for the security it offers. Just try to do things, find the things that you really like doing. And nowadays you can always, it's part of the job nowadays, no? To reinvent yourself and to change. It's not like you have to be doing all your life the same thing.
So what we could say finally is that finding your career is a continuous process.
Exactly.
All right, well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.